Welcome to MSU Today in Studio. I'm Jim Peck. I'm here in the studio today with Jillian Granz, who's an MSU student, and Jillian has had something really wonderful happen to her. She's won a contest to design a dress for the red carpet at the Oscars. Now tell me about how that happened. This wasn't just send in a design for just any old dress and see what happens.
One of the classes that I'm taking at Michigan State this semester is a special topics course. It's for innovative approaches in apparel design. What we had to do was, for our first project, design a sustainable gown. And what better way to get us interested in a contest than, or in a design, than have us do a contest. So our professor found the contest and they were contacted by the red carpet green dress contest people, and they had us submit the designs. It had to be a sustainable gown. We had to do a lot of research on it.
And this wasn't just design a dress and somebody who works for some corporation is going to wear it. This was for somebody that's kind of special in the world of Hollywood, isn't she?
Right. The dress was designed for Susie Amos Cameron, who's the wife of director James Cameron.
Very cool. Now, when you are designing this, it's got to be from sustainable materials. What does that mean to what you do when it has to be sustainable? What does that mean?
It can mean a lot of things. It could mean the fabric that it's made out of, so a certified organic fabric, bamboo fabric, but that's kind of a fine line because a lot of chemical processes go into making that one. It could also mean an innovative way of cutting the fabric, using all the fabric in the design so there's no waste going out of the dress.
I wanted to talk about whether something can be high fashion and sustainable, or does it have to be sustainable first? How do you look at it?
It can be a little bit difficult. That's where a lot of my research went, was trying to find fabrics that could be sustainable but also red carpet worthy. There's a lot of really not glamorous fabrics that can be sustainable. So I wanted it to be something where she wouldn't be criticized for wearing it. So I wanted it to still look like a glamorous dress. And also the technique I used to design the dress was a no-waste patterning technique, and it made a really interesting design detail on the dress.
What does that mean? What is a no-waste pattern? You're getting way beyond anything I know anything about.
Well, the no-waste would be the way of cutting the fabric where you don't, throw any away. So it would be using all of it, the scraps, to make flowers, or using it as something in a seam on the dress. So the way that I did it made a really interesting design detail on the dress.
But it's more than just, here's a dress and it's made out of some sort of green fabric, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of research that went into it. Dyes that can, harm the environment, wouldn't be sustainable. So, and a lot of fabrics are dyed. So there's that, and then there's a lot of fabrics that can be worn on the red carpet that aren't so sustainable either. So, we looked at bamboo fabrics, silk fabrics, just anything that was natural or that could, rejuvenate quickly in their environment. So.
And was this something when you went through this contest, did they ask you to sort of defend all the stuff and how it was green and what did you use and what kind of inks and all those kinds of things?
Not so much the rules of the contest. You just had to submit some designs. When I submitted my design, I did send in a little blurb along with it that sort of explained what it was made out of, why I chose those materials, the way that I was cutting the fabric, because I used the no-waste patterning to do it, and then sort of I sent in a diagram on how to lay out the pattern pieces as well to get them to utilize all the fabric. Was the whole idea of sustainability and using,
again, we keep saying green, but but recycled fabrics, environmentally sensitive fabrics, was that something that you really were aware of or cared a lot about before this?
Before the contest, we do touch on it a little bit in the program on campus, but not so much. So this was sort of new. It was really hard to design something for the red carpet that was also sustainable.
Did you come here to MSU to be a designer? Was that what you'd always dreamt of?
Not originally. I did start in a different program, and then right at the last minute I changed into fashion. So I've always been artistic, so I just decided that was the better route for me.
What did you start in?
Pre-med.
Really? And so now did your parents just completely, they're like, oh, our daughter's going to be a doctor, and then what was that phone call like?
They weren't, really upset about it. Ever since I was younger, they had been putting me in art classes and everything, so they've always pushed me in that direction. They're just either way happy for me, whatever I chose to do. So.
We'll be right back after this. I always feel like walking around campus that this is, to me, the sort of place you can come and sort of find your path, no matter what that path turns out to be. It sounds like that's true for you, was it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, I did take some fashion classes in high school, and that's kind of what piqued my interest in it. And then being a fashion major here, you know, you kind of develop yourself more as a designer, so you kind of find your way a little bit better.
Do you feel like I know you've designed this wonderful dress and so many exciting things go along with it, but do you feel that you are plugged into the world of fashion as far as determining what to create and how to do it, or are you still or ever sort of designing for yourself from what's inside of you?
You know, I still design for myself. I do like to put my own touches on the garments that I design, but you know, with the contest, it was sort of the first project that I've done where we had to design for a client. So that was really interesting because you have to take into their account, like your account, what they like to wear, the silhouettes they wear, the colors they wear, and everything like that. So when doing the contest for Susie, she did suggest some colors she typically likes, and then we researched some silhouettes she wears on the red carpet.
So I was going to ask you about that. You know, when did you design this dress with her in mind, or did you design this dress with the contest in mind, or both?
Well, the contest was all about, you know, designing a dress for Susie, so obviously I had both in mind. I did have her in mind, but I did try and keep a little of my design aesthetic in the dress just because we were originally supposed to be making them for class, and I wanted it to be something that, you know, I would wear, that I liked. So, but I guess it's good that she liked it too.
do people get your fashion, do you think, when they look at it right off the bat?
It depends. It's really subjective. I like to use colors that people wouldn't typically put together and silhouettes that people usually don't see anymore. So, you know, it's kind of subjective. People can like it, people can hate it.
Well, and some people talk about things like humor, and they say, you know, humor is something that makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Are there parallels to that with fashion?
Definitely. You know, there are some things, you know, that can make people uncomfortable in fashion, you know, sheer tops, and the way that I like to play with it is sort of mixing colors that kind of people have to think about, you know, do those really work together? And then after looking at it for a few more minutes, they kind of, you know, see how they're working together and they finally understand. So,
do you feel most of your stuff has sort of a smooth, tailored look? Is it rough? Is it different? Does it all look the same? Have you developed a signature look?
I'm still sort of developing my signature look, but I do like to incorporate sort of, I guess, edgier features in my garments. I do like raw edges in them. I like to sort of manipulate the fabrics in different ways, so they are a little bit different than just a regular shirt that you'd buy off the rack at a store.
Different how? I mean, it doesn't...
You know, they're, you know, more artistic, I'd say.
So, and is that something, again, we talked a little bit about where this comes from within you. Influences out there, people that you look at, where do you get these ideas?
You know, it's hard to say. There's so many designers out there that can influence, you know, college students in the major and everything. And we look at all of them, and it kind of depends. People always ask me who my favorite designer is, but it's hard to say because I could have a favorite one every season. So, you know, their stuff can change so drastically as well.
What do you think? You know, this is something that I would think designers dream about. I mean, the way little kids think about playing quarterback in the Super Bowl. But I think that it's probably important not to see this as an end. Obviously, you're not 100 years old. You're not ready to hang up your shears or whatever, your chalkboard, whatever, however you're designing this stuff. So how do you take something like this, or have you even gotten to the place where you're looking at what's next for you?
You know, I am a senior and I'm graduating in May, and I've been sort of toying with what I'm going to be doing with after graduation. And, you know, for a month ago, I was really stressing out about it and worried about it. But then I heard about the contest and I heard that I had won. So, you know, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to be doing after graduation, but hopefully this will make it a little bit easier and my name will still be fresh in people's minds, so they'll remember who I am and make my job search a little bit easier. Well,
in a sense, you have entree. I mean, you're kind of launching your own brand. I mean, we're talking about here, you know, about Michigan State University and the Oscars, but I mean, this is a wonderful jumping off place, I would think.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's really hard for new designers to get out there and put their brand right out there, and it usually takes a while for them to develop their own line and their own brand, and hopefully this will speed that up for me a little bit.
Have you gotten comfortable with the fact that you are already inspirational to people out there who have lots of different kinds of dreams? I mean, to see what you've done with this?
I haven't really thought about that yet. I guess that's really a big honor. I haven't really thought about it in that way.
All right, hold that thought. We'll be right back. When you're developing designs, is this something that you kind of do in a vacuum? Do you bounce these ideas off of other people?
You know, in our classes, we do bounce the ideas off of each other. We start out with some sketches and we do critiques on each other, and we tell each other what could be improved, what we like about it. Oh, those colors look weird, or something like that. So, you know, we are always bouncing ideas off of each other, and then in the design process, while we're actually sewing and working with the fabrics and everything, people do, you know, come up to you, oh, I like that, or that looks a little bit funny, you might want to change it. So we are always trying to help each other out.
Has this been the sort of thing where you look at what you've taken in school and what you've learned here, and has that helped define what you do? Has it given you more tools? I mean, I get the feeling that you already had sort of a creative sense, an artistic sense within you. What has the educational part meant to that?
You know, I did start out in fashion classes in high school, but they weren't so much designing your own stuff. It was more like buying patterns and just making the clothes. It was more a sewing class. But now in the program, we do develop ourselves as designers and as artists, and we find our own style. So, you know, the education part of that really helps develop you as a designer, and it's really great. Plus, you learn a lot more sewing skills and a lot more tricks, which is just amazing. You know, I learned about 5 new ones just yesterday, so.
For people who aren't sitting where you're sitting, what kind of a whirlwind has this been for you?
It's just been absolutely crazy. You know, everyone's been so supportive. The day that I found out that I had won, and Susie called me herself and told me, I called my mom, and my mom's been keeping a file of all the news stories and everything, and my family is just ecstatic, and I'm really excited about it, and it's just a great honor for her to be wearing something I designed on the red carpet. And
you said your mom Googles you like every 5 minutes. She's going and searching for your name again, is that right?
Yeah, my family must just sit on the computer all the time because I'm just getting email after email. Oh, here's this new article, here's this new article, all day. So I swear that's what they do.
Well, and I talked to you just a couple of days after the announcement happened, and when I talked to you on the phone before we met, I was trying to ask you questions about what was happening, what did the dress look like, and you almost didn't say anything. I mean, there was such a media blackout on you that you weren't allowed to release. You could be in the CIA. Folks at home, if anybody's looking for a clandestine agent, Jillian Granz would be terrific, because you didn't release any information, and you couldn't, could you?
Right. The news release did get pushed back a little bit. I did find out on a Thursday night. It was originally supposed to be on a Friday, and then it got pushed back about another week after that. So I did have to keep quiet about my win for a while. Also, when people ask me about the dress, I really can't tell them what it looks like either. So.
Is that hard? I mean, was that, you know, leading into the events, was that something that you wanted to be able to say, look at this, look what I did, this was so cool, and you just have to sit there and go, oh, well, you have to wait and see?
Yeah, exactly. Well, when I found out that I had won, I just wanted to go and shout it out and tell everybody, and I had to wait for that. And then when I could finally tell people that I won, oh, what's the dress look like? And I would have loved to tell them so that, you know, when I described it to them, they could have seen her on the red carpet and believed that I had actually won. I'm just afraid that people are going to see it and be like, you didn't design that, so.
I suppose one of the things I should ask you about is, what program are you actually in? I know you're in the design program, is that correct? How does this actually fit into the university?
It's the apparel and textile design program. It's in the College of Arts and Letters, where it just got moved into the art school. So we're becoming more towards the art side than the science side of textiles. And
people don't usually think about Michigan State University as an arts college, but in my experience here, I mean, the College of Arts and Letters is doing some amazing things, and for people who want more information, there's a lot of information on our website and also at MSU.edu at that website about the College of Arts and Letters. But a lot of creative things that you don't necessarily think about when you think about a great big school like this.
Oh yeah, definitely, and especially even since I've been here, the program's been developing more and more, and it's just been getting bigger and bigger, and you know, us doing these public contests and everything, and us getting more recognition for what we do. It's really great.
And we'll be back after this. We headed out with Jillian to Hollywood. We saw the glitz and the glamour. Take a look.
I love LA, and it's my first time here, so I'm really enjoying it. We're walking around and putting our hands in the cement and seeing whose handprints fit ours and everything on there, so that was a good time. I fit in Marilyn Monroe, so I was excited about that. It was a good time. We looked like tourists, and then we just sort of have been hanging out at the hotel, kind of getting acclimated and everything. Right now we are at Deb Scott's studio. We're waiting to see Susie in the dress, and we're going to be doing a fitting with her and seeing what needs to be fixed and everything before the unveiling. I actually have not seen the actual dress yet. I've heard about it, heard what it looks like, and things that have been altered on it, and about the fabric and everything. So right now this is my first time seeing it, so I'm really excited.
They were all presented to me, and I didn't actually know if it was drawn by a woman or a man, and I sort of went through them in different iterations and, you know, took the ones out that I liked, and it ended up with Jillian. You know, I think the color of it, there's a simplicity to it, yet there's a edgy sexuality to it as well. Her use of fabrics and the way it flows.
Jillian, what do you think? Why don't you tell us what you
I love it. I think it looks great. I love the fabric. It's really pretty. I like the choice of doing the empire too. I think it definitely suits you, so I think it looks great. I like it. I'm very excited about it. Okay. This is so weird.
So you like this? Can you get used to riding in a town car?
Definitely. I like it. I don't mind being driven around.
Have you had fun?
Yeah, I'm definitely having a blast. It's been very busy. Right now we're just leaving the hotel. We're about to head up to Muse Elementary School for a VIP tour with Susie, and we're going to see the school, see what they do there, and learn a little bit more about it.
So this is our Muse, this is our utopia for children. I do think that exposing children to environmental consciousness, social consciousness, at a very young age, then it really just becomes their reference point.
We're at Muse Elementary School. It is the school that Susie and her sister Rebecca founded.
We inspire children to live more consciously with themselves, one another, and the planet.
They focus on teaching the students about green living and about the environment, interacting with the planet, and learning to appreciate the planet that they have.
Muse is a nonprofit organization, and so we do have to do a lot of fundraising in order to support the school and to support our global program. We came up with the idea of Red Carpet Green Dress to help us raise funds here at Muse.
I feel like after finally seeing the school, I can understand more what the contest is all about. And now that I've seen the school and seen the kids, I understand it even more, and I'm even more enthusiastic about it.
Yes, it's a beautiful dress, and it's much bigger than just a beautiful dress.
Yes.
Ultimately, it's not about fashion, it's not about sustainable fabrics, it's not about sustainable clothing, it's about understanding the foundation of our planet's natural systems.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's the most important thing. And I mean, if we're going to be here on this earth and living harmoniously with it in the next 50 years, we need to think about those things now.
Luckily, we're starting to talk more about sustainable fashion because we only used to touch on it a little bit, but because of the contest and everything, it's becoming a lot bigger of a deal.
It's about creating awareness around sustainable clothing and creating awareness around educating children in a transformational way.
Sustainable design is using renewable resources, and you use them in your design. A lot of times that means, you know, organic cotton or bamboo fabric.
As we got into fabricating the dress, we had a very interesting journey sourcing the fabric.
Designing a red carpet look out of, you know, bamboo fabric, for instance, you know, fabrics like that, it does have to go through a lot of chemical processes in order to make it a soft, like, nice fabric, and then it isn't so eco-friendly. So there's sort of a fine line that you have to cross.
And now I'm on a mission out of this little idea to really try to make a change in the way we look at creating fabrics and dyeing fabrics, and not just for fancy dresses, but for the clothes that we wear every day.
It's just a way to be more eco-friendly, to be more conscious of what you're putting into the environment, because fashion design is so fast-paced and it changes so quickly that it's important to sort of think about that in your designs, because a lot of times you wear them once and they're out the door.
Did you see her grab that on the head?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man.
This is our crew from Michigan State.
Is a single dress going to save the world? No, it's not. But it's going to challenge the fashion industry, and by extension the entire clothing industry and all industries, to think in terms of the toxic dyes they put into products, to think in terms of where the fabrics come from, to think in terms of the slave labor, the child labor that's used to produce those fabrics, all of those things.
I think it's awesome. I wore a dress made out of bamboo one time, and I really liked it, and I'd love to explore the eco-fashion world more.
The first thing you have to have is a sense of outrage that this is happening and not enough is being done. And then that has to trigger action, not a sense of being overwhelmed. People need to feel empowered that on an individual basis they can make a difference.
Well, I think it's important to give people an alternative, you know, to give them a sense that there are choices that you can make and that some of these choices are can be sustainable.
And it's just inspiring young designers and people who are going to be coming into the industry to be sustainable in their garments.
You know, we just have to live differently.
Well said.
I just went on a rant.
That's so much to react to. I don't even think that I can ask you any more questions about that. But do you think this is the kind of thing that you're going to be just reeling from for years to come?
Hopefully, you know, I don't want it to just right after all this happened just die down. You know, I want it to keep going and keep pushing my life forward. So.
Well, it's a terrific story. Jillian Granz, it's been a pleasure having you here with us. And like I said, for more on Jillian, for more on the show, head to our website, which will be put up on the screen anytime now. And I'm Jim Peck. I'll see you next time on MSU Today InStudio, and we'll keep our eyes on Jillian Granz and the fashion future, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.